Emma tightened her apron and glanced around the small-town diner where she worked. The place had a cozy charm, but years of wear showed in the peeling paint and scuffed floors. Despite its imperfections, it was her second home. The hum of chatter and the clinking of cutlery filled the air, creating a comforting rhythm she had grown used to. At 25, Emma's life was a far cry from easy. Her days were long, juggling double shifts to support her younger brother, Danny, and their shared dream of a better future. Yet, her warm smile never wavered, and her kind heart made her a favorite among the regulars. She had a habit of helping those in need, often handing out leftover food to the homeless she encountered on her walk home. One particular evening, the sun dipped below the horizon as Emma's shift neared its end. She wiped the table clean, her thoughts lingering on the stack of bills waiting to be paid. The diner's door jingled, and she glanced up to see a well-dressed man enter. He seemed out of place among the usual crowd of truckers and locals, his tailored suit and polished shoes exuding wealth. Emma greeted him with her usual warmth, showing him to a table. He ordered quickly and ate in silence, occasionally glancing at his phone. Just as she began to clear another table, she noticed him hurriedly leaving. Something glinted on the counter where he had sat. Approaching, Emma's eyes widened as she picked up a sleek leather wallet. "Hey, sir, you forgot your—" Her voice trailed off as the door closed behind him. Emma slipped into the corner booth and opened the wallet. Inside, she found a wad of crisp bills and a business card embossed with the name James Carter. Her heart raced as she stared at the name. It was one she had heard before. James Carter was a renowned billionaire known for his reclusive nature. The temptation to keep the money flickered for a moment. It could pay the rent, cover Danny's school books, and leave enough for a few months of groceries. But Emma's conscience wouldn't allow it. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. "Do what's right, even when it's hard." "I have to return this," she whispered to herself. At home, she discussed it with Danny. His eyes widened when she showed him the wallet. "You're amazing, Emma. Most people wouldn't even think twice about keeping it," he said, admiration shining in his gaze. The next morning, Emma called the number on the business card, and a formal assistant arranged a meeting. Her hands trembled as she prepared for the encounter. Despite her nerves, she knew returning the wallet was the right thing to do. The towering skyscraper of Carter Industries loomed before her. Emma's nerves threatened to overwhelm her as she stepped into the grand lobby, but she took a deep breath and pushed forward. An assistant led her to an opulent office where James Carter awaited. He was taller than she expected, with sharp features and an air of authority. His piercing gaze softened as she handed over the wallet. "I believe this belongs to you," Emma said, her voice steady despite her nerves. James took the wallet, his brow lifting in surprise. "Most people wouldn't have bothered," he said, studying her intently. "Why did you?" "Because it was the right thing to do," Emma replied simply. James' lips curved into a rare smile. "The world needs more people like you," he said. Before she left, he handed her a folded bill and thanked her again. Emma didn't open it until she reached the elevator. When she did, her breath caught. It wasn't a bill but a check for $5,000. Her mind reeled. She wanted to return it, but the assistant's polite smile made it clear the decision was final. Unbeknownst to Emma, James couldn't stop thinking about her. That evening, he decided to learn more about the waitress who had intrigued him so deeply. Over the next few days, he followed her quietly, observing from a distance. He saw her hand out food to a homeless man, help a lost child find their parents, and comfort an elderly customer who was dining alone. Her compassion seemed limitless, and James found himself deeply moved. "She has so little, yet she gives so much," he murmured to himself one evening. A week later, James walked into the diner, dressed in a tailored suit that seemed out of place in the casual setting. The bell above the door jingled softly, drawing Emma's attention. Her brow furrowed as she approached his table. "Mr. Carter?" she asked, puzzled. "Good afternoon, Emma," he said with a warm smile. "I hope you don't mind me stopping by." "Of course not. Can I get you something?" James hesitated, then nodded. "The special of the day. But only if you promise to sit with me for a moment afterward." Emma blinked, caught off guard. "I suppose I could take a quick break," she said hesitantly. When she returned with his meal, James gestured for her to sit. "I've been thinking about our meeting," he began, "and I realized I couldn't just walk away. People like you are rare, Emma." He reached into his pocket and handed her an envelope. "This is for you." Emma unfolded it, her eyes widening as she saw a check for $50,000. "Mr. Carter, I can't accept this," she stammered. "It's not charity," he said firmly. "It's an investment in someone who deserves it. Use it to make your dream come true." Emma used the money to rent a small space and open her dream cafe. She named it Emma's Haven, a warm and inviting place where everyone was welcome. She ensured that anyone in need could have a meal, no questions asked. The community rallied around her, inspired by her generosity. Customers came not just for the food, but for the sense of belonging Emma had created. James visited occasionally, always incognito, watching as Emma's vision blossomed into reality. Each time, he left with a sense of fulfillment he hadn't known in years. One evening, as Emma closed the cafe, a sleek black car pulled up. James stepped out, his expression softer than she had ever seen. "I hoped I'd find you," he said. Emma smiled. "Mr. Carter, what brings you here?" "I wanted to see the impact of your kindness firsthand," he replied, "and to thank you. You've reminded me of something I'd forgotten. The power of giving." Tears welled in Emma's eyes as she shook his hand. "You gave me the chance to change my life," she said. James shook his head. "No, Emma, you changed mine." As the car drove away, Emma stood in the quiet street, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. Her journey had taught her that even the smallest acts of kindness could create ripples far beyond what she imagined. Message: kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change the world.